Yeah, FBA dreams, FBM hustle, private label stacking muscle, intelliTALKS on the track.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of intelliTALKS. Today I have a special guest, my friend Gilad Freimann from VAA Philippines. Welcome Gilad.
Hello, Marcel. Good to see you. Good to see you. This time we're talking not in person. Usually we meet in person in very good events, Amazon or e-commerce events. So I'm happy to see you again.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, we were traveling the world and yeah, we see each other pretty much everywhere. We were discussing before this interview about going to Accelerate, also next year's Prosper potentially. So yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey. Always a pleasure to meet you.
But it's always good to share information and talk, also on online.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, let's dive into it, Gilad. For those that don't know you, tell them a little bit about yourself and a little bit about VAA Philippines, how it came to life.
All right. So first of all, I'll say this: my name is Gilad. I'm an e-commerce seller. First of all, I started selling on Amazon in late 2014, beginning of 2015, which is strangely enough, it's already like the dinosaur period. But it was not that long ago. It was 10 years ago. But things were completely different at the time. We started selling on Amazon, and the business grew, and we needed assistance that could help us to scale the business. It was me and my wife that we started the business together, and we needed to hire people to work under us and to help us to grow the business, which was growing pretty fast at that time. And we hired people from the Philippines, and strangely enough, we had all the possible problems that could happen to a person trying to hire and just scale fast. In the beginning, we were hiring the wrong people. The people that we hired turned out not to be what they said to be. They started disappearing. They had, a lot of problems that we encountered along the way. And I think because we had to do it, because we were still growing and we needed assistance, then we pretty much became experts in hiring virtual assistants, understanding how to find people from the Philippines with the great attitude, and we pretty much realized what we were doing wrong, and pretty much almost everything we did was wrong at that time, and we grew from the decision of understanding how to hire the right people, and this was the beginning of VAA Philippines. We managed to find a solution to find reliable and hire and train virtual assistants from the Philippines. People started to come to us and asked, okay, can you find me the same VA like you have now? Yours is great, is amazing. Can you find me another one? And then another person came, and this is actually how VAA developed. VAA, for those who do not know us, Virtual Assistant Academy is a company that specializes in recruiting virtual assistants from the Philippines and then training them specifically to work with e-commerce sellers. We started in the beginning with Amazon, but then developed also to Walmart, Shopify, TikTok Shop. We trained them and prepared them to work with the sellers. That's in general about us.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Something full disclosure on our side, we've also been working with Gilad's team. They're amazing. So yeah, for those that haven't tapped into it, I suggested at least a conversation with Gilad and the team, because yeah, I was amazed by the professional talk and everything, the professional skills of the guys there. So really worth opening up a conversation and at least discovering what slots you can fill in your business.
Thank you very much. I remember we had all these conversations, before you started hiring VAs, like how it's done, how to do it, and so on. And then we discussed, maybe a lot of people are interested to know how to hire people, how to to find them, and so on. And then that was like maybe the beginning of this episode. So here it is.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So Gilad, why do people won't succeed with AI alone? How do we position this one? Because I'm also looking at the topic of our conversation, and it's around AI, but it's not always AI alone. So
right, it's not AI alone, and you know what? People do succeed in the beginning alone, and that's a bit of a tricky part, because when you hire, let's go back one step backwards. When you do everything yourself, then everything is running perfectly, because you know exactly what you want, you know how to do it, you are the one to take care of your customer service, and you're the ones to create content on Facebook, and you're the one You're the one to manage your PPC, for example, and everything is under your control. And everything is great because it's exactly the way you want it. The problem is if your business succeeds. That's actually the problem. If your business stays the same it is, with 2-3 sales a day, and 2-3 questions a week, and with customer service, then you're all fine. The problem is that when you're starting to have bigger volumes, you need to have more inventory. You need to manage this inventory. You need to manage the shipments. You need to have, instead of 5 questions a week, you're starting to have 20, 30, 40 questions from customers a week. You need to create more content. You need to manage your listings. You start to have more and more listings. You started to think, maybe I should sell also on Shopify, or maybe I should go into Walmart. And then suddenly you alone is not enough. And if you continue to succeed alone, then you're actually becoming the bottleneck of your business. And then you start to feel like the heavy weight of doing everything yourself. And then you're starting to neglect. That's usually what happens. You're starting to neglect, and you're not able to do everything yourself. And if you ask me like 3 years ago, then this would be the point that people would hire virtual assistants. They understand that this is the right fit. They would go to us because we know how to find for them the right people and train them, so they could do the work instead of them. And then they would hire people to actually do the actual work, to manage their PPC, to manage their everyday work. And then came AI, and AI managed to fool some people and thinking, wow, there's a new technology that enables me not to do anything and sit on the beach, and AI will take care of everything. And I was the same. I was thinking, like, wow, it's so amazing. I can create an image using AI in 3 minutes, and then all I need to do is to master this specific AI tool, and then I'll know how to create images in 2 minutes. And then a month later, I understood that there is a new AI tool that is better and more precise and better images. So I have to learn that tool as well. And then everybody started talking about video editing, that you can create amazing image, videos of your listings, of your products in, again, 2-3 minutes. But you have to master that AI tool again. And then that one changed, and so and more you understand that we start to see a specialty here, an expertise that is needed. Because if you are the one that starts to understand, okay, I'll master this AI tool, and I will master this AI tool, and I will step every day and put all my PPC campaigns into the AI and get the results from the AI and do it and put it in the, so I'm saving time, but suddenly you have to do more.
Don't do that.
Right. You start to see how many things you have to do, and then you're becoming the bottleneck again. You're the AI bottleneck. If you are the AI department of your business, then you're in trouble, because now you see how many things you have to do with AI. You have to learn the expertise that is changing every week. You have to apply this. You have to put all the prompts and make sure that you have the right input. That the AI is taking the input from the right place and the output has no mistakes in it. And if you ever played with ChatGPT, don't tell me you never discovered any mistakes with ChatGPT that could be, you would say, whoa, where did the AI came from? Why did they taking me to this direction? And now imagine that this is your PPC we're talking about, and imagine that magnitude of mistake is happening with your PPC, which is a disaster. So obviously you realize today that AI is not enough, and you have to have expertise. You have to have either management agency to run this for you, or you have to to hire people. But in the end of the day, you're not. It's not enough that you handle this alone. And AI is really now what we are seeing is becoming the bottleneck from a lot of sellers. They come to us and they say, look, I need an AI expert who can help me with this. I need an AI graphic designer who knows AI and could create for me all these images. And I need an AI to manage, my listing and flat files, and and create content for me on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest, and that's what we're seeing today.
Yeah, exactly. And AI has been evolving like crazy. I'm a tech guy, so I have technical background. I've been in the IT ever since the dial-up era. I've been working with Linux servers and everything, so I've learned everything very fast, and I had to adapt very fast. We didn't have back then AI, but now what I see in the AI industry is like overwhelming. It's a lot of information, And people think that it's easy to just, for one person, I'm not talking about one person, to assimilate all, because it's very, very hard to stay up to date with everything. And yeah, but nevertheless, we don't know where we're heading. The smart way to do it for a business is to get, like Gilad very well explained, to get people that are experts in AI and navigating AI for you on a daily basis. And, playing with that tool each and every day, because you don't have the time. At the end of the day, you, let's say a business owner, you either have time or money. If you have time, okay, do it yourself. If at the end of the day you want some time for yourself, I don't know if you can afford that. So yeah, having money and investing into VAs and into virtual assistants, actually, to help you with the tasks and delegate, that's another level of skills. You need to get into that. But Gilad, very well structured there. Do you have some real examples of AI plus human workflows inside the Amazon operations that you can share in our conversation?
We can talk about them.
Absolutely.
I cannot share them, but I can definitely talk about what we see that our VAs are doing on a daily basis with sellers, because like we can understand now, the role of the VA changed. From executors, they're no longer executors; they're managers. And this is what we used to be before. We were managing the VAs, and they were the executors. Now AI is actually the one, executing and creating all the stuff, but somebody has to manage the AI. Somebody has to tell the AI the directions and all that. And we see this happening in all the different levels. We see this in generic AI for graphic designing, because today, if you're creating graphic designing, it's, in the past it was okay to create one image, to post it, and that was it. Today you have to change all your images, every week, because you can, and your competitors are doing that, so you have to do it as well. So maybe it's taking you 2-3 minutes a day to do it, but you have to do it all the time, and you have to do it on the different channels. And if in the past, creating content on Facebook, you say, okay, I will create a content and I will post it once a week, and people would see that we're an active company that's posting on once a week on Facebook. But if you're looking at the competitors today and at your niche, your brand that's selling, you'd see that they create content several times even a day, and they're posting it, including the visuals and the graphics and the edited videos, several times a day on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on LinkedIn. So the expectations of our customers today changed. They are expecting to see the results of AI, and they're expecting to get content more and more all the time. So you alone cannot do it. So we see that our graphic designers today, they're using a lot of AI tools. It could be Nano Banana, it could be Midjourney, it could be a lot. There are a lot of AI graphic designing tools that they're using in order to create better images. But in the end of the day, they're still using their expertise, and they go back into Photoshop or Illustrator, and they adjust it, and they make it perfect for the specific brand that they're working with. So they're using AI to have the ideas, to create it, to show it, and to to merge images and so on that could not be done before, or would take hours of work. But then the designer implements their expertise in an hour. So instead of a work that would cost you for 10 hours of work in the past, it would cost you an hour or even half an hour of work today. And then you can do so much more today. And we see this also with graphic designing and video editing, creating a lot of images, even from a single image of a product. Today, using AI, you can take an image of this glass, and with AI, you will create animation to it, and you will create this cool video of how much time that you need. And the video editor will work on it a portion of the time that it would take him to do it before. Before, they would ask you to create a raw, video of that glass and how it looks, and then or ship it to them in the Philippines, and then they would take it to a photographer. And today, even with an image of the product, you could create this videos. And even Amazon themselves allow you with Seller Assistant. They allow you to do a lot of A/B testing with the AI tools, and that's exactly what the VAs are trained on. And so we see it with graphic design, we see it with video editing, we see it with social media. That today we have customers that started selling in countries they have no idea how to speak the language of. We started seeing customers from the US selling in Japan, and they're using a social media VA to post in Japanese, which obviously I do not have to mention, they do not speak the language, or in German, they don't speak the language. Today, the social media VAs, they can create the content and they can create the visuals in any language, and you know that it's going to be good enough. And worst case, you can have somebody just going over what they created and just making sure that it's fine. But you have an open now marketplaces that you could go into without speaking the language, which I find amazing. So we've seen that. And one example that I want to share is that we had an Amazon VA brand that was working with us that was using a tool called Product Pinion. It's a tool that can do an A/B testing. I'm not saying specifically about them. It's an example. There are so many A/B testing tools that are great. The idea is that in order to test if what works or not, you have to use the VA to create polls, ask the questions, ask what you want to improve, get the information from the customers, use AI in order to analyze the information coming from the polls. Okay, showing them several options, what would be the best image, then getting the information about it, what they would change. AI would analyze what you should do better, including adding the images of your competitors, for example, and having AI diagnose and tell you what should be done. Then going to another AI tool in order to create this image, the new image coming from the AI recommendation, and then putting it back into the A/B testing, to get the final approval of the audience, to see, wow, to see the score that you're getting, and then putting it on Amazon. And then it was completely changing, and it was all done by the fact of an AI savvy VA who knew how to work with AI in order to get the insights from the audience of the A/B testing tool, Product Pinion in this case, how to use another AI tool in order to generate the image just by answering the insights of the other AI and making it amazing. And so there's so many options today, but if you think about yourself doing this, then you're falling into the trap that did not even exist before. If you're finding yourself now trying to navigate through all these tools and systems, then you'll never be able to to compete against the big guys that are out there that are using VAs that are trained on AI, and you'll find yourself behind. So I think that's the new version of the Superman syndrome. The Superman syndrome today is that you're falling into doing AI management and trying to be the AI manager of your business, instead of understanding that this is another typical task for virtual assistants, just with different attitude and different training.
Well, at the end of the day, if you want to do it by yourself, you're not running a business, you're just a freelancer in your business. So yeah, I totally support teams. And yeah, things are shifting. We are shifting from people executing to AI executing and people overwatching. That's at least my 2 cents on everything. But how trained VAs actually support the recurring workflows, how they validate outputs, handle follow through, and help sellers focus on growth?
Well, first of all, they have to understand that we have different types of VAs. So first of all, let's put it on the table. We're not talking about one expert VA to manage and like Superman VA to handle everything. We have different expertise. So for example, a PPC VA or an Amazon VA would focus on the tools that are relevant to their specific niche. So they would understand all the AI tools that are relevant. For example, social media VA. Okay, let's go on this direction. So a social media VA will first of all have to understand and master the tools that are relevant for social media, for content creation, for images, for short video reels, creating all this using AI. So they would have to be experts, and that's what we're training them to be experts on, the AI tools that they have to use. They have to understand how to work with AI and how to create prompts and how to understand how to analyze and work with AI, which is completely different training compared to how we trained them 2-3 years ago, which was more about content creation. They needed to know how to create the content in an intriguing way. Now they will use prompts and work with AI in order to get a ready-made post. And they're using their expertise as social media VAs in order to adjust it, to tweak it, to create additional prompts in order to make sure that this post is unique. Otherwise, you will be flagged by, there are a lot of SEO or companies or that are flagging AI results, and you don't want to go there. So it's important to take this AI, but implement the human aspect of it,
touch,
and the human touch exactly to answer your specific needs of your audience, your targeted avatar. And that's exactly what the VAs are trained to do on the social media. And it's true to every type of VAs. And in fact, they have to make sure that the AI is getting the input from the right place and not confusing and taking input from another place that will create a disaster. And by the way, this is something that's changing all the time, because if you're taking the input from here and taking the output there, but now it's Christmas, so now things are changing all the time, and you have to make sure that the inventory is different, and you have to change. So you're changing and adapting the input and the output as well. That's the job of the VA, to make sure that the AI is using the right reports, for example, is giving the correct output and correcting it and adjusting it along the way and verifying it all the time. And that's really the job that we see that VAs are becoming experts today.
That's super, Gilad. In case of, let's say, an entrepreneur that never delegated before and didn't tap into this world, let's take this one, for example. What do you think they should delegate first, and what to validate, and where to start without actually overwhelming their business?
Well, I think they should look at their business and where they're stuck at. So, for example, if you're just starting to sell on Amazon, giving Amazon as an example, so you don't have yet a lot of traffic, you don't have a lot of customer service problems, you don't have a lot of inventory problems. So hiring an Amazon expert is not really your need at the moment. What you need maybe at the moment is a PPC VA to help you to create the campaigns, optimization, getting you more traffic. Okay. If you're already in a later stage of your business and you have the traffic and you have a lot of conversions and you have a lot of sales, and your problem is now that you don't have the time to do the customer service or the inventory management or the listing optimization and so on, then you would hire an Amazon VA for that. Sometimes customers, sellers are already selling on both Amazon and Walmart, for example. So they would hire a VA with double expertise. So they would not need to hire one Amazon VA and one Walmart VA. They will have one VA with double expertise. They were training the VAs to have this double expertise. And then the same VA will handle, for example, PPC on both Amazon and Walmart, or they will handle inventory management on both Amazon and Walmart. So it really depends on your needs. Sometimes your situation is that on Amazon, for example, or on e-commerce, everything is working the way it should, but you're feeling like you don't have any brand awareness at all, and you don't have any external traffic, and then your point should go into that direction, into understanding how you could improve the results that you have in your existing marketplaces and start creating content and working with influencers. And if you're in the US, then doing ACC, which is pretty much like influencers outreach inside of Amazon. And that will be the job of a social media VA. So really, I think the question that you asked is to understand what's your need at the moment. And we can definitely help you to understand your need. I mean, if you contact us, the idea is not to sell you a VA. The idea is really to understand your specific need, how a VA could help you to grow your business. Maybe you don't just need one. Maybe you just need one VA part-time job, not even full-time. And maybe you just need a project-based graphic designer that could help you to lift, and to make a facelift for your listing, and that's it. So the idea is really to understand how VAs can help you to grow your business and then go from there.
So actually what you just mentioned, am I understanding correctly that you have also VAs, and I know this is why I'm asking, VAs that can go project-based?
Yeah, that's something we do. We do it with graphic designers and video editors. So you can hire them project-based for this specific task, and you're only paying for the task specifically. But unlike other companies, should I say Fiverr? Let's say I'm saying Fiverr. Let's say Fiverr or Upwork. Unlike them, which I hated, I have to say sorry. But I hated it when as a seller. I hated the fact that I had to always go on their terms. So they knew that over there they have 24 hours to respond to you. So, the designers over there, they take 24 hours to respond, because they can take other clients in the same time. And even if you want to change this black to a lighter black, then you have to wait 24 hours until somebody responds to you, and then they make a change. Here, what we try to do is to give our sellers the direct access to the designers. They go on a Zoom call, they go on a phone, and they store things immediately. So that's a project based. For special occasions like Prime Day, we also allow PPC VAs to do a project based, so they could go in, audit your campaigns or your structure, improve things, and be with you for the purpose of the Prime Day, also before Christmas. These specific project based. But after that, if you're hiring somebody that you need that will go with you and help you to grow the business, then you can hire them even in the beginning for 3 hours a day. You don't have to go for a full-time job.
That's amazing. Thank you for that, Gilad. That's something definitely anyone and everyone out there should be thinking about. Just trying to my rule of thumb is like, if I do a thing for too many times and I know it's repetitive, I try to delegate it. That's the easiest way. So yeah, as a business owner, you need to be open-minded, to have the vision, to have the energy in a different direction. But yeah, this is me.
I still do it. I still do it today. I'm like you. Every time I'm asking myself, if this operation that I'm doing now, is this specific task that I'm doing now, is this something that only me as the owner of the business can do with my knowledge, with my understanding of the business and so on? Or this is something that somebody else with the right training, with the right attitude, with the perfect person could potentially take away from me? If the answer is yes, under specific terms, somebody else can do it for me, then I already start to see, okay, how can I do it now? How can I delegate it? And I just answer to myself that I don't need to do it. If the answer is no, this is something that only me have to do it, I am the one with the vision of the company, I will continue to do it basically forever, then I keep doing it. But if the answer is, and most of the time the answer is somebody else can do it, I already start to build that structure of giving it to somebody else.
Yeah, that's amazing. Actually, I look at things from the business perspective is like, in a simple way, like the ships were running back in the old days. You have the people there that are rowing. You have someone that's handling all the people and telling them to row left, row right, just if the boat needs to turn. Then you have of course the different layers, and the captain that has the vision and knows where he wants to lead everyone in the boat. So it's pretty much in my brain. It's like that structured. So I tend to create layers. That's amazing, Gilad, and really appreciate the VAA Philippines team. And do you have anything for our audience today? Have you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd like to say this: if you have any questions, if you're not sure if you need a VA and so on, you can always go on our website 𝗲𝗏philippines.com and understand over there the different types of VAs that we have, the different expertise. We have Amazon experts, Walmart, Shopify, TikTok shop, social media, graphic designers, video editors, even a personal assistant that could help you run your everyday work and can manage your inbox that is filling so fast and so on. So we have VAs basically for all these needs of e-commerce sellers. And if you have any questions, there is a button over there to book a call. You don't have to have your credit card in the end of this conversation. It's really like understanding your specific needs, explaining to you how VAs can help you. And so that's definitely you're invited. Now, if you mention that you came from MARCEL and the team and intelliTALKS, then on IntelliRank, then you'll get 20% off the one-time fee, and that's something that we give specifically. So make sure that you mentioned it. If you're using a different link or anything like that, we'll not be able to see it, and you'll not get this discount. So mention this to us, and you'll get a 20% off the one-time fee.
I appreciate you, Gilad. Thank you for offering that to our audience. That's an amazing offer, actually, for anyone that, first of all, a free conversation. It's always free just to talk to Gilad's team and understand your needs first, and maybe whatever you can do for your business. At the end of the day, you're investing in your business. So I don't see it as in another way. And also the 20%. Thank you, Gilad. Appreciate this offer. And
thank you for having me.
Sure. It's a pleasure. And hope to see you soon somewhere in the world, Gilad. Until then.
I'm sure we will. Thanks.
Until then, see you. Bye, everyone.
Keep the dream alive, keep pushing through from the first shipment to 1 million streams. We all got here chasing boxes and dreams.